Welcome to the White Skills EU project. My name is Ákos Klein from the Barno Foundation, Hungary. Over the past years, we tried to influence many trainees with our activities. And today, I'm going to interview one of them, and we try to explore together what it takes to be an effective environmental influencer. So don't hesitate, join us today.
And my first question is that how do you feel when you hear that someone is calling themselves environmental influencers, or you hear this phrase green influencing, environmental influencing? What are the connotations come to your mind?
I think it's quite a mixed feelings because it's a new concept for me, and hearing other people's experiences of green influencers, they've been more negative than positive. So it's people that are self-claiming or proclaiming to be green influencers, and I think this is more linking into like when organizations greenwash people as well, and they make all these false claims that what they're doing some sort of positive impacts for the environment, when in reality all these claims they're making when they're selling a product or changing a product has no effect or very little effect on the environment. But obviously the concept itself to me is a good thing. Influencing people is such a big, it plays such a big role in getting people that otherwise wouldn't be involved with nature and the environment into it. So I think there's a good potential for it to develop into something good, and if people have the right morals and the right mindset and the way they approach it, then it can have really good impacts for people and the environment. But sort of where I'm sitting at the moment is quite a mix, because not everyone does have that good mindset when it comes to it.
Yeah, and that's an interesting side of it. What makes someone an honest, genuine, and believable green influencer? So could you define what the great characters, traits, or features of green influencers might be?
I think it's someone who probably they have like a target audience in mind, and I think it's something that they would have been doing before they were recognized or self-proclaimed as an influencer. So it's someone that would have always or recently developed an interest in the environment and nature, and they're just happy and passionate to share that knowledge and information with other people, and they're not expecting to get something in return other than maybe the satisfaction of people coming into the environment sector or nature. I think, yeah, so it's like I said, they're not doing it because they want more followers on social media, for example. It's a genuine cause that they care about the environment, and they want people that otherwise wouldn't be interested in it to have an interest, or at least some idea of what they can do to get involved, for example.
What do you think we can influence? So if you are placed in front of school kids, how deeply we can penetrate into their mind, into their behavior, general daily routine? What is the target of influencing in the human brain?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think there's so much we can influence, especially if it's young people that are involved. So I think one of the things, which is probably not the most first thing that comes to mind, but it's something that we try to break down, is like barriers and stereotypes, influencing people to have an appreciation of nature. With all the crises with the climate and biodiversity that we have going on, the more people we can get on side with nature is better, for future generations and sustainability. So yeah, I think from a young age, where kids are like sponges and they absorb everything, I think that is one of the best places to start influencing people. But then you have other generations that, older generations, for example, that might not have too much of an interest or passion about wildlife or the environment. And I think just as well, you can influence them to change their opinions and the way they think, as well as the actions they take that would be affecting the environment. So lifestyle changes, diet, what products you buy, where they come from, all that sort of thing. Yeah, so stereotypes, just developing an interest for nature and the environment itself is always good, because that can then be progressed further and have more beneficial impacts in all aspects, really. Climate change, species conservation. So I think that's a good one. Yeah, and then I think that would link into like attitude and behavior, and all positive things, we would hope anyway.
Can you remember any moment in your life, in your personal life history, which was a cornerstone in terms of how you think about environment, nature, the protection of the biodiversity values, or any particular person, or just one talk, for example, you heard during the university years? So any significant moment?
Yeah, I think I was quite lucky in that when I was at secondary school, my biology teacher, he was a zoologist from Turkey, and he's what I would call an environmental influencer, because I was always interested in animals and wildlife, but I never really had an idea of what I could do with that interest and where it could go. And so I spoke to him about it, and he was the kind of teacher where instead of teaching what we were supposed to learn, he would just throw on a David Attenborough documentary, and we would sit in the class and watch that and talk a lot about the work he would do back in Turkey. And for me, that was like a really big, influence, and it gave me a direction of where I want to take, my career aspirations and career goals. So that was like a really important turning point in my life for me. Just having like one person, talk about their experiences in the environment was really good. Yeah, I mean, since then, because I've always been interested in the field, any sort of external talks I've had at uni were all interesting to me, whether it was just people, presenting their studies, scientific findings on a range of topics. It's just grown and grown my interest even more since then. So for me, that was like the major turning point in my life. And then I've just been building on that slowly and slowly over time.